Hey, Future Bestsellers, Lisa Daly here. Do you want to write a book that will suck the reader in, or your agent or your editor, from the very first page? Well, stay tuned, because today we are going to be talking about how to write a killer first chapter. I'm Lisa Daly. I'm a best-selling, traditionally published author of 8 books. And if you want to write a book that you are super proud of and get it published, this is the channel for you. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button, ding that little notification bell, and that way you will be notified every time I post a new writing video to help you get published. Writing a can't put it down hook and killer first chapter is probably one of the toughest things that any author ever has to do. It is really the hardest part of writing a book. But if you stick with me through the end of this video, I promise I will tell you exactly how it's done. So when you're writing a novel, there are probably 1,000 different ways that you could write a really amazing first chapter that draws in a reader, agent, editors, reviewers, and makes them want to read more of the book. There are probably thousands, but there are some ways that just work better than others. So today I'm going to share with you the best 5 ways to start your novel. So let me be clear here. The first line in your book is the most important line in the entire book. It's the most important line. It's the most important line. Like, the most. And then your first page, and then your first chapter. The end is like in the top 5. I mean, really, you can write the best ending in the entire universe, but it's not going to matter if nobody gets there to read it. We don't want that. Now, if you have a slow start or a bad start, nobody's going to read 30 pages to wait and see if something good happens, except maybe your mother. And she's going to read it all anyway. My mother does. Ding. Human beings today have the attention span of sand gnats, and so if you don't hook them in the first few lines, it's very likely that you never will. So consider this. I asked 9 editor and agent friends how long it takes them to decide whether or not they're interested in the book, and all 9 of them said 1 to 2 pages. That's it. That's all they give you, 1 to 2 pages. And another, far more scientific survey found that 30% of readers decide in the first 1 to 2 pages whether or not they want to read your book. And another 10%, so 40% of readers, have made that decision by page 10. 10. So you can basically sweat, bleed, weep over 300 pages. But if you don't nail it, the first page, the first chapter, nobody's going to know that. And that would be terrible, because it is really hard to write a book. You may have noticed that, right? It's kind of hard to write a book. I mean, really, if you do not have a great first chapter, you are completely dead in the water. And we cannot have that, right? That's not for us. Okay, so today I'm going to give you a little taste of the secret sauce. I'm going to tell you the 5 most effective ways that best-selling authors use to start their novels. And you can do what they do. Number 1, start when crap goes sideways. So this is actually my favorite way to start a novel, in media res. And basically what that means is Latin for in the middle of the action. Things have started, sort of you are joining this program already in progress. So I like to start my novels at the inciting incident. In writer's speak, this is the moment in the story that forces your main character to act, that sets the story in motion, and that changes his or her life forever. So if you're not super clear on the inciting incident, go ahead and check up this video right here where I go into the 3-act structure, which explains a little more about it. The inciting incident is actually when you put your characters in the tree. You'll get it when you get over there. The great thing about starting your book at the inciting incident is that your main character and your reader get to try and figure out what the fuck is going on at the exact same time. And that is a really great way to just suck the reader right into your story. In my first novel, 15 Minutes of Shame, the story actually begins with my main character like squatting behind a dumpster in her pajamas, spying on her husband. So the reader comes in right as things are starting to happen. In Shannon Kirk's brilliant best-selling first novel, Method 1533, she begins the story with a kidnapping. Her first line reads, "I lay there on the fourth day, plotting his death." So starting the novel at the inciting incident, aka when shit goes sideways, sucks the reader into the story immediately. I think there's probably no faster way to get a reader engaged, which is why it is my favorite way to start a book. They can't help but keep turning those pages to find out what happens next, right? And we love that. Now, a lot of first-time authors will say like, well, I feel like I have to explain what's going on. No, you don't have to explain what's going on, not at all. In this situation, you don't need to worry at all what the reader doesn't know about the main character. You can catch them up as the story goes along, drop in little bits of need-to-know information as you go. I mean, nobody ever runs away from a bomb blast yelling like, wait, I didn't get to tell you about my terrible childhood. It doesn't happen that way. There's time for the terrible childhood later. Number 2, start with a shocking first line. Oh my God, you will not believe what just happened. Think of the first line as a secret or a confession between you and the reader. Starting your novel with a shocker compels your reader to find out what happens next. What's going on? What is this? In Abby Fabiaschi's novel, I Liked My Life, the first line shocks, startles, and sucks the reader in right away. I found the perfect wife for my husband. In Jodi Picoult's best-selling book, My Sister's Keeper, she starts the book this way. In my first memory, I am 3 years old, and I am trying to kill my sister. What? What? You want a new wife for your husband? You wanted to kill your sister? You tried to kill your sister at 3? You can't help but wonder, like, what is the story here? Why is this woman trying to find a wife for her husband? Generally, we don't do that. And why did a 3-year-old want to kill her sister? You can't help but wonder what the story is here, and you will keep turning pages all night just to find out. Number 3, start with a murder, a kidnapping, or a death. This works really well for mysteries and thrillers, and it's a common opening for this genre, and there's a reason for that. In many mysteries, the murder or the crime is the inciting event. It is what gets the story rolling in the first place. I mean, sure, you could have your sleuth, doctor, lawyer, plucky detective start off their day at Chipotle having lunch, but why make your reader wait for the good stuff? Because I will tell you, there's another book that's going to give it up on the very first page. In Rick Riordan's best-selling The Maze of Bones from the 39 Clue series, the book begins, 5 minutes before she died, Grace Cahill changed her will. I mean, this works because you wonder, who killed Grace Cahill? Why did she change her will 5 minutes before she died? Did somebody kill her? Was she doing this under duress? Suddenly, you have 57 questions in your mind on one line. And that's the thing that you want when you are starting your book. You want your reader to want to know more. You want them invested from the first sentence, if you can swing it, and from the second, if you can't. Number 4, start with the what the fuck, aka weird works. Another one of my favorite ways to start a book is with something completely bizarre or totally unexpected. In Katharine McGee's best-selling novel, American Royals, she describes an alternate reality as though the reader knows it to be an absolute fact. You already know the story of the American Revolution and the American monarchy. You might know it from the picture books you read as a child, from your elementary school performances where you longed to play the role of King George I or Queen Martha, and instead were cast as a cherry tree. Wait a minute, King George, the American monarchy? You can't help but want to know what the hell she's talking about. You want to know more. I love to start with a weird beginning. Love to start with a weird beginning. Part of that is because I write romantic comedies, and weird is funny. Weird works really well for me. My novel, Single Minded, begins like this. You know that feeling when you're suddenly startled out of a deep sleep and you're in that hazy middle world where you're not sure what's real? Like maybe you actually could be chasing after an ice cream truck wearing only fishing waders and a canary yellow bridesmaid's dress, or you're one answer away from winning a year's supply of adult diapers on a Japanese game show. We have all been startled out of a deep sleep in the middle of a weird dream. I mean, maybe not that weird, but weird. In the next few lines, we learn that the main character has her phone in her hand. She doesn't know how it got there, and she can hear her best friend's voice saying, "Don't panic." Why should she panic? Why is someone calling her in the middle of the night? And what did she eat before she went to sleep to give her that weird-ass dream? Weird works. Weird is compelling. Weird is interesting. We can't help but pay attention to weird. Number 5, start with a problem. So starting with a problem actually works really well for starting a novel. It's a lot like starting with the inciting incident, but it's sort of the problem before the problem. So maybe your character's boyfriend dumped her, maybe she got fired from her job, or maybe she accidentally discovered secret government spyware while she was shopping online for her cosplay costume. Giving your protagonist a problem is a great way to get your reader engaged right away. So because I write both fiction and nonfiction, I actually wanted to mention to you the best way to write a killer first chapter for nonfiction as well. Now, I actually talk about how to structure an entire self-help book in this video right here. If you're interested in that, be sure to check it out. But to write a strong first chapter of a self-help book, you need to start with one thing. What is the problem your reader needs you to help them solve? Start with the problem right away. Tell your reader not only have you been through the problem yourself, but you have seen the other side and you can take them through it. You will tell them everything they need to know to help them solve it. Thanks so much for watching today. I hope I answered your questions. If I haven't, definitely let me know in the comment section below, and I'll be sure to answer you down there or in a future video. And if you want to write a book you're super proud of and get it published, be sure to hit that subscribe button and ding that little bell so that you'll be notified every time I post a brand new writing video. And if you want to see how other authors and writers start their books, this video is part of an awesome AuthorTube seminar called WORDSTOCK, which I love. That is hilarious, I think. Thank you to Eva Writes Books for coming up with that fantastic name. The AuthorTube seminar was actually the brainchild of story detective Robert Jones. If you have not been to his channel, be sure you go and check it out. And there are tons of fantastic videos from many of your favorite AuthorTubers, including Kate Cavanaugh, Carrow Brown, Tamara Woods, story detective Savvy Writes Books, DR Ranger. There are a bunch. They're fantastic. You should definitely click this playlist. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next time.